Hello and welcome to today's edition of The Rundown. I will be your host today, Craig DeLuz. I'm coming at you from the left coast, from behind enemy lines in California. But as we all know, I do not do this program by myself.
No. Welcome to the Thirsty Thursday edition of The Rundown. I am your co-host today, Mike P. Waworski, coming to you live from the East Coast, the coast with the most, here to bring you 2A news and conservative views.
Thank you, sir. Thank you, sir. So, how are we doing on this fine Thirsty Thursday?
Oh, recovering from the Hump Day festivities. There was a lot of Thirsty Thursday anticipation going on. Let's just say that. So, a couple of beverages last night with some friends, talking about this weekend. For those that are in the know, everybody that's an Arms Room Radio fan knows that Wednesday nights are pre-production meetings for our shows, and we actually wasn't that big of a drinking fest or anything like that. We just all started late last night, so we normally meet about 7:30 or so, but we didn't get to meet till about 9:30. So it just made for a late night yesterday.
Completely understand. Completely understand. I actually took the time. I got my Christmas lights up, and I knew here in Sacramento, I knew that there was a prediction of like 10 days in a row of rain. So I knew that yesterday I had my window, and so I had to take it, and I got my Christmas lights up.
Well, good. Now, do they work?
As a matter of fact, they do.
Okay, all right,
That's
all
always
right.
helpful.
Yeah. Is it just a couple, or did you go complete Clark W. Griswold on them?
Oh no, I don't go Clark W. Griswold. Although it does involve a little bit of climbing up on the roof.
Oh, all right. Well, there you go. Okay.
So we've
Yeah.
got the lights. I've got a two-story house, so we've got the lights on the first level, and then we've got a big snowman that's up on the roof on top of the first level. But yeah, no, I'm not climbing all the way up there.
Now, do you have one of those pitched roofs like for a snowstorm that when you fall you get a lot of speed up before you hit the ground, or is it just like you
I
stumble
would
and you go,
imagine,
"Oh,
yeah, I would
hey,
imagine that I would probably catch. I would probably catch. Yes, I would probably say yes.
good." Yeah, it always amazes me when I go someplace and it never goes below 50 degrees that you see these extreme peaked roofs, so the snow slides right off of them. Like, what are you people doing? Did you really want that northeastern home that you had to put it down here in the sun, and catch all those rays on the roof? It's just crazy.
They look cool. That's
Yeah,
about it.
yeah, exactly. Not functional, but they look cool. Yeah, yeah.
No, not functional at all.
Yeah.
Not functional at
More
all.
room
I
for
mean,
your
mine's
solar
probably
panels,
not
I guess.
overly pitched, but when you're up there,
Yeah.
man, it feels pitched.
Now, I don't know. Listen, we're good on time. I'm just checking it out. Were you ever a roof person as a kid?
Yes, actually, I remember we used to in the house we had when we were a little older. We actually had a swimming pool. We used to actually jump off the roof into the swimming pool.
Okay. Yeah, I had. As a city kid, right? So one of the places to go for relief was on the roof. You would
Yeah,
you'd go up there and you just you'd take a blanket or a towel up and just chill and do your homework up on the roof and just have fun. It was peaceful time away from all the rest of the crowd. Um, and I thought maybe I was unique doing that until I came home one day and found a ladder in the backyard, and my daughter goes up on the roof and does the same thing.
well, they figure when as you get because as you get older, and maybe maybe it's just me. As I've gotten older, I'm more like I realize that the consequences of falling are different. When you're a kid, you heal pretty fast. The older
Oh
you
yeah.
get, the longer it takes to recover from a tumble like that.
Oh, listen, yeah, you just do the old tuck and roll off the roof, and you're good to go. You should have seen me yesterday contemplating stepping down out of the bed of my pickup truck. I was like, oh, how am I going to do this? Oh.
Like this.
Yeah, it's like,
I can do
maybe
this.
I'll sit. Maybe I'll sit. No, because then I'll have to go down to my knee first. No, that's not going to work.
Yeah. The joys of getting older,
Oh
huh?
well.
Hey,
Oh well.
I may, but at least we're here to actually get older.
Yeah. Yeah.
The
Exactly right.
alternative is not quite as attractive.
That's right. That's right. Every day, I give thanks that I'm on the right side of the dirt.
Well, folks, hey, let's get into our stories today, shall we? All right, so this first one is kind of interesting because we all know that one of the comorbidities of the most significant comorbidities or other symptoms that someone would have when it comes to the coronavirus actually is obesity. I think it was something, last I checked, it was something like over 74 or 75%, something like that, of people who actually died from COVID, or let me clarify, died with COVID, were considered to be morbidly obese. Well, now there is a study that was done, and I know this is the New York Times, Mike, so please don't get, I realize I always take whatever I see in the New York Times with a particular grain of salt. But having said that, I also know that what they noted was that they've actually done a study where they've determined that coronavirus actually attacks fat cells.
Well, attacks them and like makes fat people sick, or attacks the fat cells and helps them lose weight, because that's a big difference.
Well, no, it attacks them and actually is more likely. That's the reason why more people who are considered morbidly obese or overweight, because it actually goes into the fat cells, it actually increases the likelihood that they're going to have serious symptoms.
You see, and this is just like you said, New York Times kind of stuff. I distinctly recall an article from about 6 months ago saying that not the morbidly obese people were. It wasn't talking about that, but it was talking about those that were the absolute peak of physical fitness were more susceptible to be put down by not like put down by death or anything, but put down with the illness than those that were carrying around 20 to 25% body fat instead of 5 to 10%, not the 40%, not the morbidly obese. Those your middle average everyday non-working out Americans, those people were said to have more protection because of the extra layer of subcutaneous body fat. So it's weird now they're saying the ultra fat, I guess the morbidly obese, are more susceptible to being affected by it.
I got to admit, I never saw that original article that you're talking about. I do know that, like I said, being obese has always been a significant comorbidity.
Yes, and I'm not talking about the study I saw was not the obese, not the people that we all know what obese looks like, right? I'm talking about those that are just, maybe they haven't worked out in a year or two. Okay. We're getting a little soft around the middle. Okay.
Right.
Those people were a little more well protected from it than those that had maintained peak fitness.
Well, in part now, okay. So here's one thing where they are correct, in that a lot of people, especially when you start getting down around like 5% body fat, you're not healthy. Just so you folks know that your body requires a certain level of body fat as kind of backup protection and all of that. And I won't get into the metaphysics of it. But yeah, if you're down like under 5% body fat, you're not healthy. The other issue that they found with a lot of people who are that fit is when the symptoms of coronavirus first come on them, instead of stopping and resting, many of them try to work through it.
Yeah.
And as a result, they keep working out, and as a result, their immune system goes into overdrive, and causes the symptoms sometimes to get even worse.
Yeah, no, let's be clear too, Craig. The 5%, you can have that in healthily in professional athletes or people that maintain their fitness, because they eat properly. Where they eat the extra fat and they eat the extra carbohydrates a day to supplement that. That's why they have to eat 4,000 or 5,000 calories a day to supplement for what the body doesn't have, because they've worked it off. So there is that formula for that. If you're out there with 5% and you're a marathon runner, don't freak out, because it would, Craig and I just told you know what you're doing.
Oh yeah, exactly.
But if you're gangly, and I can see your bones in your ribs, and you're at 5%, and you look like a Holocaust survivor, that's obviously an issue. Yeah.
Well, like for example, I'm talking more like bodybuilders. Like when bodybuilders are in competition shape, they're not healthy.
Well, and you and I have both been there before in competing, whether it be for strength or for show, and you'll do that last week with zero fluids to get the cut appearance, and you're not looking good. But you're looking good, but you're not healthy.
Exactly.
Right.
Yeah, crazy though. But yeah, so here's the thing, and this is one of the things you generally will not hear from the medical community, is that's the reason why. Hey, guess what? It's good to eat right. It's good exercise. And guess what? It actually is probably will play a significant role in reducing the likelihood of you having the serious effects of COVID. It's one of the many,
Yeah.
many other things that you can be doing other than just getting the jab.
Yeah, yeah. So again, folks, the moral of the story here: if you find yourself obese, morbidly obese, you may want to look at hitting a nice clean gym or getting a little bit of exercise or eating a little bit better, because the healthier you are, the more resistant your body's going to be to the COVID.
Exactamundo, exactamundo. So I'll just to throw the quick screenshot up there. There's the story over there at the New York Times. I encourage you guys go check it out and read it. And once again, I'm not a big fan of the New York Times, but I'm also someone who believes in getting information from all sides and kind of weighing it accordingly.
Yeah, very good. I like it, weighing it, like weighing the fat tissues. Very good. Uh, Way to tie it in, like a pro right there.
Very nice,
Oh,
very nice, very nice. All right, I think you
Craig,
got this next one, right?
yeah, have you seen our two favorite sparring partners have been at it again this week? Senator Dr. Rand and or is it Dr. Senator Rand? Have and the Fauci, the Dr. Fakey, have been at it once again. The Omicron, Craig, and I don't know if you've seen this. The news media has now been reporting the Omicron as the Omicron. They're no longer saying Omicron; they're calling it the Omicron virus. Like that changes it somehow, makes it less deadly or less effective. But Dr. Senator Rand, or excuse me, Rand Paul went after him and said, "Listen, this guy Fauci, he's just he's causing a hysteria again. He's out there creating fears and got people going all on edge." This was originally reported when it came out of South Africa as, okay, here's another strand, it's starting up, but don't worry, folks. It's nowhere near as dangerous as the original COVID or the Delta variant or anything else we have. This one might spread a little bit quicker, but it's also mildly, hurtful. So it's in fact they've been comparing it to less than the cold and less than the common flu and less than the common cold. But Fauci, like, oh, I don't know. We'll always have to look at the possibility of isolation and quarantines and shutting business down and travel restrictions and burning people at the stake and putting them in mass graves. And, that's just where he goes. And Senator Paul does not let up on this guy.
Well, and the worst part about it, Mike, is that they do that, and then you've got policymakers in places like New York and California and in Los Angeles, San Francisco, who are like, then put up these massive, crazy restrictions, right?
Yeah.
Okay, well, hey,
Right.
you can't walk outside unless you've been triple vaccinated with a booster and are wearing wearing a dozen masks, right? Three dozen layer masks. Policymakers are actually taking what Dr. Fauci says and they're treating it like it's, okay, this is worse than anything that has ever come down. And, in this particular case, so far as we know, I don't know that there's any evidence that anyone has actually died from the Omicron variant.
Right.
So if
Yeah,
no
I've
one's
not seen
died,
anything.
if
I've
it's
not seen anything.
if it's less virulent, I mean, not virulent, if it's less fatal, right? And who cares if it gets infected? Some people are saying this may be the endemic variant, the one that everyone can get and everyone can live from and everyone can develop strong immunity.
Yep. There you go.
Yeah, I don't claim to be a doctor or anything like that, but I know that I can follow the science, and that's the number one critique that Rand Paul has is he just doesn't follow the science, and he's promoting this hysteria, and then you got Biden doing it, and all these other folks who are then pushing this hysteria about it. And I think you made up the point when we were doing kind of the pre-show. It's like, what was the headline you used as an example of how they're promoting the hysteria? I'll let you do it.
Oh boy, that's like 20 minutes ago, and you want me to remember that now?
Well, it was when you said that this strain is more contagious.
Yes.
And 1,100 people a day are dying of
Oh yes,
COVID.
exactly. Yeah, they had it on the news yesterday. I was watching local news, and they said, uh, there's the new strain of Omicron is out there. It's less deadly yet. 1,179 people continue to die a day, but they
Right.
didn't say from what. They
They
just
didn't
said
say from they didn't say from
1,100.
Omicron. They didn't even say from coronavirus. For
No,
all we
no.
know, it was with
Yeah.
coronavirus.
Yep. Yeah. Yeah. Yeah, because the news has got to drive that, right? And if Fauci said it, it must be fact, right?
And
Science faction.
it's that level of irresponsibility that frustrates the heck out of me. That you're like, look, you guys are just making this worse. You want
Yeah.
people to take you seriously. You want them to take COVID seriously. But the problem is they can't take you seriously because they just don't tell the truth.
Yeah, absolutely right. It's all about their agenda and their control, and that's what they want. Listen, Fauci's been the least important person of any administration and any government workplace for the entire 40 years he's been there. He's cried, he's cried wolf every time something's happened. Now he's finally got people listening to him, so he wants to maintain the control just like everybody else. And every time he sees it fading away, it's but death might be around the corner. So.
Exactly. Well, let's move on to our next story.
All right, let's. Speaking of President Biden, let's go, Brandon. There was a holiday boat parade in Yorktown, Virginia, and then if you've ever been a part of a boat parade, it's everybody gets on their boats. They run up and down the river or down the bay or wherever it happens to be, and they put all the Christmas lights they can on their boats, which is not an easy feat because of it's AC versus DC. You've got to wire it up properly. Bring extra batteries. You got to do everything to do that. So it's not an easy feat to put all these extra decorations and lights on a boat. Well, they have this one boat, and it was a clear winner with all the lights and everything on it. And I guess because they do this during the evening hours, right? I guess once the boat pulled back in, it had already been declared the first place winner. When it pulled back in, they realized that the boat had the stickers and signs all over it that said "Let's go, Brandon." And immediately the promoters for the event said, "Oh no! Well, we're disqualifying the Let's Go Brandon boat because it's too political. It's too political. Mind you, it's in Virginia, right? That's where basically the foundation of our country started with that's where all of our presidents came from.
And oh, by the way, where Republicans just walloped Democrats
yes,
in every election where they had a chance.
Exactly right. Here's what. Sorry, that's the wrong story. I have a quote from it here. Let me get you the quote from this story. Boy, it seems to have escaped my notes. So hold on, we'll get this one moment to you. You see the signs, right, Craig? You see the signs there, right there. You see the lights that were on there. And here it is. They said. If you choose, this is what the boat owner said. If you choose to interpret bad words, that's on you. No curse words ever were used on my boat, or came from my boat, or were written on my boat. The phrase "Let's go, Brandon," obviously we know came in after the NASCAR event, where the reporter said it sounds like they're chanting "Let's go, Brandon" for the winner of the race, Brandon Brown back then. So, this is. And how does the Yorktown lighted boat parade people? How do they get to decide that it's too political and we don't want to have political decisiveness? Divisiveness. We don't want to have political divisiveness here in our organization. And so basically, what you had, right, Craig, was some liberals running a boat parade. And when "Let's Go Brandon" won, and they realized it, they took the title away from him. Because I don't care where you go, you can't say our organization has no politics. And we know what they mean. It means our organization has no conservative politics.
Well, exactly. And, once again, the vote was decorated. The boat had the best decoration. Just because people didn't like the message, and all the messages is, "Let's go, Brandon." Now, how you choose to interpret that is how you choose to interpret that. But last I checked, Let's go, Brandon. Um, none of those are bad words. None of those are foul words. None of those are denigrations. If you choose to take it that way, then that is on you. But because people keep trying to change the English language, they want to put beliefs and meanings behind things. No, I'm sorry, I'm not buying in. I'm not buying into that.
No, I am not either. I am not either. I see this as no more hurtful than "Go Army, beat Navy." Okay, that's really what you're
Hey,
saying. You're
those are
supporting.
fighting words. I mean, come on.
You're saying one. Well, listen. First off, Army's 8-4 this year, and I think the midshipmen are 3-8. So I'm not really. I'm looking forward to a really good Army Navy game this weekend.
Or a really bad one.
Yeah. Well, yeah, exactly right. Yeah, listen. As a loyal Army, current reservist and veteran, longtime veteran, let's just say, come on, beat the spread, baby, beat the spread. It's,
Nice stuff. Nice stuff. Okay, this next story, Mike, is not so nice. And I am, as you know, I'm a school board member here in the state of California. I am a firm believer in the importance of education, in particular when it comes to rigor in education. When I say rigor, I'm not talking rigor mortis. I'm talking like, you got to push kids to be better and to know more and to do more. Well, some large California districts, including one right here in Sacramento, not the district that I'm with, are looking at reducing or in some cases even eliminating D's and F's on report cards. Because, well, their problem is that they feel like testing students doesn't always tell you exactly what they know or how they know it. But my question is, how else do you know? Now, Mike, here's the worst part about it. So you already have the CSU system, the California State University system, and the University of California system saying, we're not going to require the ACT or the SAT any longer for students to get access to college. So we're going to base it largely on their transcripts. But if transcripts are now basically being altered or falsified, meaning when a student actually fails, we're not going to tell people that they actually failed. How are you going to know whether or not a student is actually qualified or prepared to enter that university, to be successful at that university? It is beyond insane.
Craig, let me say this. As a young junior high schooler and as a young high schooler, I also eliminated D's and F's from my report card when they
By
were
studying?
given. Well, no, by a little bit of pen and pencil on the way home. So, take care of business, right? Oh no, Mom, we didn't get report cards this semester. It's the weirdest thing. It was crazy. So yeah, right. That's how you take care of a D and F is you study, right? If you apply yourself, you focus. If you've got too many extracurricular things going on, you eliminate. You find you have to focus on number one, which is the schoolwork. Hopefully you're not having to study critical race theory or something like that there in the Sacramento school district, but that's what you have to do. You tighten up and you focus. If you take away all the things that can harm people or offend people or scare people, then you're going to end up with nothing. You're going to end up with a generation of the overly timid and never been offended, and will have no idea how to walk across the street without stepping in a puddle because it's never happened to them before. Craig, it's adverse. I don't know what to do.
Well, it's weird. It's like saying, you know what? I'm having a real hard time losing weight, so I'm just going to get rid of the scale.
Yeah, there you go. Yep. Scale's gone. That's it. And now you need to get bigger chairs.
It is idiotic.
Or
even better, if I'm shooting my gun, I'm having a hard time hitting my target, so I'm just going to get rid of the target.
There you go. And my target's now the air, so I shoot and I win every time.
You win every single time.
That's right.
I cannot believe. This is just beyond, and now mind you, this is the same state that is actually making it so that you're not going to be allowed to take higher math, like algebra 2, trigonometry, pre-calculus or calculus until your junior year of high school. Yeah. Because some people are offended. Some kids feel bad because they're not achieving those levels of math until later in high school or even college. So in order to level the playing field, we're going to now remove the ability of anybody to be able to take these higher levels of math. And this is the real problem with this idea of quote unquote equity. See, there's
Yeah.
equality, which is we get treated the same, right? I
Right.
make sure you have the same opportunity. You make sure that I have the same opportunities that you have. That's equally the same opportunity to succeed. What they want is equality of outcome. And the problem with that is this is that the way they want to do equality, especially based on race, it completely and utterly ignores individual effort and individual talent.
Yeah.
And so when you have someone who maybe is better at math, the only way in which you can guarantee, or not even you'll never guarantee it, but the only way in which you can push for them to have equal outcomes is by bringing the person who's higher lower, right?
There
So
you
in
go.
other
Right.
words, we lowered the scale for everybody. How is that helping our kids? How is that helping anybody?
Yeah, this is even worse, right, Craig? Because normally before you would just you would put the curve in there, and you would give the average score for everyone, and that way, remember the smart kids stop working as hard, and the dumb kids don't work at all because they knew that they were counting on the smart kids' grade for the curve, and they all end up right in the middle with the same grade, right? This is even
Mm-hmm.
worse. Now the smart kids are still doing the smart work, and the dumb kids just got two promotions. Hey, listen, we know
Right.
you got an F, but now it's a C. So,
Well,
by
here's
by the
my
way, Craig,
suggestion.
when
I
that's
think here's what we
what
ought to do. We ought to just you ought to look at your party registration. If you're a Republican, then you get someone who actually got real grades, right? And
yes,
if you're a Democrat, then you should get the doctor who had their D's and F's scrubbed.
there you go,
If
there you
that's
go.
what you
Yeah,
feel about education, then you be the one to have that person, teach your kids, or you be the one to have that person operate on you when you go to the hospital. Because
right.
I don't want that guy representing me in court.
That's right. Right. What is it? You know what they say? What do you call the guy that ends or finishes last in his medical class?
Doctor.
Doctor. Yeah, doctor.
So
Um,
let's not make finishing last like, you know,
it's
some
still a
paste
trophy.
feeding.
Yay! Here's your trophy. You made it. Thank you. Yay! Now, does this mean more money for California schools because none of them now will be graded with a DNF grade at the end of the school year?
I have no idea what it means, man. All I know is that we are educating our children into imbecility.
I could see this happening though at the schools because folks, if your school gets rated at the end of the year an A through an F, and that depends on the state funding and federal funding they get. So, do you think now when they go back to California schools and the feds say, well, "Listen, we graded you an F," this school's going to
Well,
say, "No, no, we got rid of Fs. We can only have a C." Oh,
well, it
okay,
may
we'll give you a
mean
C
that
instead.
then it may mean less money because they actually give more money to schools that are failing.
See, what they should do is give more money to the schools that are succeeding. That way, the schools that are failing have to go away, and those students could then transfer to schools that are succeeding.
Well, there is an initiative that's going to be on the California ballot, which actually would do just that, where the money would then follow the kids.
Yeah.
So we shall see. In that case, then, if you're doing well, parents like what you're doing, then that's where the money will go.
Yep. There you go. That's it. That's it.
Funny how that works. Funny how that works.
Yep.
All
Yep.
right. You really wanted to make sure this next story got on the program. So I'm
This
going to let
this
you take the lead on this one.
this story is just close to my heart, your heart. I know it is. We've seen many times over the past, well, really since President Trump started tweeting. Right, we've seen all of the Meta. We've seen the Twitters, the Instagrams, everybody that just censors free speech. Whether it's well, we know what it always is. It's always conservative free speech that we see getting trampled on and being restricted or suspended or excommunicated from whatever platform it happens to be. We see them shutting down the servers of new platforms when they come up, like Parler happened. We see them resistant to what former President Trump's new social media platform is. It's just they must control the media and they must control the message. Well, there's this young woman, Craig, who's out there, and she continually is having her accounts deleted because, and again, I feel her pain here because she's damn pretty. She's a very pretty woman, very very beautiful person, and as a beautiful person, the people are doubting that she's real. She gets complaints from other women that like, you're not real, and they file complaints, and her stuff keeps getting shut down. Her name's Veronica Rajek. She was Miss Slovakia, one of the finalists there in 2016. Currently lives in Manhattan Beach, California. But she is just, Greg, her picture, she's such an attractive woman that her pictures look like the fake ISIS requests you get in your mail every day. Now, are you familiar with those ones?
Oh yeah, I most definitely am. Once again, in the pre-show, I was joking. The reason why I finally relented and said, you know what, we got to do this story, was because I literally had someone who was an attractive person. You get those fake requests. Attractive person, boom. Oh, that's not someone I know. Turns out it actually is someone who I don't necessarily know them, but I know of them, and I know several people who know them. But I deleted the friend request because I was like, oh yeah, it's ISIS.
Yeah, every time you get one of those, it's like a account created 12 hours ago, and you take a look at it, and you're like, nice try, ISIS, nice try. But you know what I do before I delete those? I go through their friends list and see how many of my friends fell for it, because then I like to point that out. And be like,
yeah,
you're like, so how's your new Nigerian prince friend? Or how's your new ISIS buddy? Just whatever it happens to be. But Veronica, she's real. Do you have the picture of Veronica? You have her story there?
Oh, I won't. All right, so here we go. Too beautiful for Insta.
There she is. That's just your average, good-looking, former Slovenian, now current, or Slovakian, Manhattan Beach girl right there. But evidently, her pictures are causing a storm, and they keep deleting her. And I get it. I feel for her. It's tough to be, an attractive, smart, outgoing person, and then have your stuff sometimes taken seriously.
Yeah. If you got a friend request from her, I mean, you would assume it was ISIS.
Who, her?
Yeah.
Well, first I would do my research. I'd check the story, check the background. If she was real. Let's see.
So a lot of times, though, in cases like this, what winds up happening is people wind up reporting it, and that's really what it is. Yeah. It's not just Instagram, but in this case, it's users who are like, "Oh yeah, this person is fake." And that's what she actually says in the story. Yeah. Is she points out that she gets messages from people asking if she's fake, from guys asking if she's fake, and from women claiming she is fake. So
yeah, that's it. Yeah,
I think there's also some jealousy out there.
Yeah. Stop requesting friendships with my boyfriend, kind of stuff. Yeah. So I just wanted to prove that the censorship is not just for the conservative; it's also for the attractive. So
exactly.
So you and I get doubly punished.
I know. It is so hard being beautiful.
It's not easy. It's not easy. You have to make allowances. Sometimes I got to pick my who I'm going to hang out with based on how they look, because you can't go out with a crowd of 5 people looking like that. You got to throw an uggo in there once in a while. Make it normal.
And what'd you say, an uggo?
Yeah, an uggo.
Well, speaking of an uggo, let's move on to our parting shot. As we all know, Alec Baldwin is the gift that just keeps on giving. By the way, we actually have evidence that he did have his finger on the trigger, and that's why the firearm went off. And there's the photo right there. That's the photographic evidence that Alec Baldwin had his finger on the trigger. That resulted.
I believe that's right before it went boom.
That was just before it went boom.
Yeah, then they argued about who's going to clean up the car.
Right.
Oh,
do you see the sign that says, "I'm not even going to go there"? I'm not even going to go there. We're not going to go there. This is a family show.
Yep.
But if you've seen Pulp Fiction, you know how the rest of that line ends.
Yep. It's a Royale with cheese. It's
a Royale with cheese. Exactly. Yep. All right, folks. Time to shout out for our sponsors, dude.
Hey, let's say hello to our good friends at Guerrilla Machining, a Grid Defense, and then, of course, the California Republican Assembly.
Very much appreciate you guys visiting them, letting them know that the folks over here at the Rundown sent you. We will see you again tomorrow. Tomorrow is Feedback Friday, so please remember to tune in. We will be taking your comments. We will be having conversations at the normal time. Once again, 2 p.m. on the West Coast, 5 p.m. on the East Coast. Please remember to like, share, and subscribe, and encourage your friends to do the same.
Holla at you tomorrow.
Hasta mañana.